Morning, testing sound. Let's see. Pressing. Okay, I think we're good. You all can't hear those alarms. Okay, good morning. Good morning. Doing a sound check. If someone could let me know if the sound is okay on your end, that would be greatly appreciated. Good morning. Welcome. Today is Monday, January 13th, and we are in our New York AM session live stream. Let's see. So far, right now, currently, we've tapped into this 1 hour bearish fair value gap and into another bullish one. We don't have any news drivers currently. Since last night, we have taken our previous Friday's low and we have created a bullish breaker on the 1 minute, at least to the upside. So currently, order flow is bullish, but overall on the daily, as you can see, we are in a bearish order flow. We've confirmed a few bearish order blocks. We have a bearish breaker on the daily. We rejected out of this daily fair value gap, and we have a bullish daily fair value gap here along with the volume imbalance. I'll enlarge that so you can see it just a little better. I'm playing around with different chart colors for the live stream, so we'll see how it works out. But our order flow is bearish. If we look at the dollar's order flow is absolutely bullish at this time. Now, we've already took the high. So would price want to dip into this bullish daily fair value gap and continue on? That is yet to be seen. But currently, dollar is bullish and indices are bearish. On our 15-minute, we have our Dillon range high and low. And again, we are just tapped into this 1 hour fair value gap. Let's look at the hourly. We made a very small hourly candle here. Green threshold is here. And it looks like price has already mitigated the mean threshold of the previous hour's candle. Let's also watch and see what happened at 8:30. So at 8:30, it seems like we just kind of consolidated and just dropped into this 1 hour bullish fair value gap. So we have to see if we're going to create a bullish breaker coming out of this or continue down to our lower time frame targets. We have a couple of swing lows down here on the daily. And then we have that daily fair value gap. Let's take a look at our regular trading hour gap. This here will be our new day opening gap. Actually, let's do this. Okay. All right. So we're just consolidating right now. Good morning, Jazz. Thank you so much for the sound check. XMT, good morning. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. If you all could please like the live stream, also share with others so that we can grow the channel and, you know, you guys can become my trading buddies. I like the sound of that. Let's be trading buddies. One moment. For those of you who may not know, I've been battling like a virus or cold for almost a month now, off and on, but I had to have antibiotics and I'm done with that course of antibiotics. So um, hopefully this will be the end of it. I'm feeling better. Just have some residuals going on, but I'm looking forward to getting my voice and energy levels back up. So, so currently we are just really watching to see what's going to happen here at our 9:30 open. The order flow on the higher time frame is bearish. We created a bearish order breaker block after we tapped into some of the New York range from Friday, and we retraced back into the New York PM session range, and then we came down. So we've been in a bearish mood, but we have taken the Asia low. We've tapped into a new day, a new week opening gap. Uh, and we hit the edge of it right around 708.5. So this here is the edge of a new week opening gap. Excuse me. I am so sorry. I couldn't get to the mute button in time. I do apologize. So now that the London session is over, I like to map out the mean threshold of that session because price tends to want to retrace to it, which we did right around 8:30, and then we started to come down. I like to keep track of the New York opening range equilibrium as well, just to see where we are as it relates to price. If you all have any questions or anything that you want to share, please feel free to do that in the chat, and I will answer those as soon as I can. So the last thing we've done is we've taken the mean threshold or the consequent encroachment of this 1 hour fair value gap. So I want to see if we can create bullish breakers going to the upside or if we're going to create bearish breakers to the downside. A high time frame order flow is bearish, so uh, I'm favoring lower prices. And right around 7:34, we had a 1 minute bullish breaker to take us up. So we'll see if price is going to, excuse me, if price is going to bounce in between different um, breaker blocks. So we just want to get a little bit more information right now. We're kind of we're heading down, but we did hit some resistance and start to push up. So this could be just a pullback and not, excuse me, a full reversal. If you are trading with Apex, Tradeovate and Apex are having some issues, so they have halted all trading, and they do that often. And so I'm not really sure. Apex has chronic issues and problems with the platform. It's always something with that. So unfortunately, you won't be able to trade until they resolve that problem. Good morning, Rodrigo. Morning, Tiffany. Thank you guys for joining us. If you could please subscribe, like, share, and introduce yourself as you come in, that would be great. I'd love to know how long you have been trading. If you have questions or if you just want to share a little bit about yourself so we can get to know each other a little better. So around 9:30, what I like to look for is to see if what price is actually doing as it relates to tipping its hand about the direction it wants to go. And in doing that, I look for after 9:30, is price making or confirming order blocks or returning to those order blocks, or are they creating breaker blocks and returning to those breaker blocks? Are they taking some higher time frame point of liquidity? And if so, I watch what happens after that. So I do that for 9:30 as well as 10 o'clock. I also like to watch during the macro times, the 9:50 to 10:10 macro and the 10:50 to 11:10 macro, which is our London close macro. You usually start seeing profit taking out during that time. So if shorts have been making money all morning, sometimes you'll start seeing some type of reversals going on. The macro time serves as a push to price's target and or manipulation away from it to allow smart money to get in on their trade to go to where they actually want to send price to. So sometimes during a macro, you'll see some deeper retracements. And then I like to watch at the ending of the hour. So at around 9:58, I start looking at the hourly candle to see exactly what the the current hour candle has done. I like to get the mean threshold of that, and price tends to retrace back into um, that area before going to its intended target. So there's a lot of things that you end up tracking throughout the day when it comes to price. We don't have any news drivers, so uh, Monday could be a just slow day, or I've seen lots of Mondays give plenty of movement. So hopefully we'll get a nice silver bullet hour where we'll see some type of movement out of this range. Yeah, well, we will see. Um, in Asia, I did catch a nice short in Asia, and then London session had a nice little dip. So momentum is still bearish, but this is just, it could be a pullback or it could be a reversal. We're just going to see, let price manipulate and do what it does, and then we can execute if something makes sense to us. But there's no need to rush. We have all week to find a very good trade. And technically, you only need one or two good trades per week. Preservation of capital and risk management are the most important, in addition to following your strategy rules and um, things like that. So we wait. I only talk when I need to or I'm explaining something. If you guys have a question, I'll definitely answer that. So feel free to listen to your favorite tunes. I prefer silence and quiet so that I can kind of concentrate on what's happening on the charts. I also have other screens that I look at um, as it relates to ES and the dollar. And for those of you who just joined us, I did do the daily recap. And on the daily, indices are bearish. We're confirming bearish order blocks to the downside, and dollar is very much still bullish. But dollar can also retrace into its daily bullish FVG and continue up. So we're going to see what price really wants to do. But I do hope that Apex gets that trade of eight issue resolved pretty soon because it is unfortunate that you guys can't trade how you would want to. About that, guys. Yeah, yeah, that's part of it. I just noticed that Apex has a lot more um, issues than most others. So that's unfortunate. Oh, also, well, for those of you who are, they had 25% off resets on my funded futures for the first 200 users. So I reset the first eval that I failed. And so now I have copy trading. I'm planning to copy trade both of those, the second eval and the reset of the first one. So I'll be doing both of those together if it makes sense, if the trade makes sense. Um, so that was the plan. I was debating about doing morning and evening sessions, but that's just a lot for me. It's too much to sit here um, at the computer. I don't recommend it. So sometimes if we can't find anything in the day, then we could take a break and come back, um, depending on how I'm feeling and things like that. But it's not something that I want to make a habit of or let that be an expectation that will happen because, I have other things to do outside of trading and sitting at these charts all day can be quite a task. So I'm looking here, um, the 5 minute. This area here seems to be more or less our bullish breaker area. Price tapped into it, went up, but we got caught in this bearish fair value gap here. And now we're coming down. This here will be considered a 5-minute bearish breaker. However, we tapped into this 1-hour bullish fair value gap, so that could reset everything and send price up, making this now a new bullish bullish breaker. So because we're not really clear on what price wants to do, I like to allow price to do what it needs to do for a little bit and let it show us. I would prefer, if we are going to do anything, to take this London low and then create some bullish momentum, or we're going to continue down into the daily fair value gaps. Now, our gap, again, I'll show you, is up here, and we're trading about right here. So we have over maybe 200 handles, I believe. And one of the things that ICT was teaching us in his new 2025 mentorship is when you have an extreme gap like that, price may not want to come back up there. It's not required. And we could continue seeing just a lot of momentum to the downside. We did not take London's high, and we are very heavily bearish. This could be just a pullback. We have about 3 minutes until the 9:30 open. So let's see what manipulation happens here. It's now 9:30. You also want to start looking for your first presented fair value gaps that present after the 9:30 candle has printed. Okay, so it looks like we tapped into this zone here. We're pushing up, but we have a few bearish fair value gaps in the way. So right now, price is still consolidating. We have not created a fair value gap yet. Looks like we're rejecting out of that bearish fair value gap, and we're back into the 1 and 5 minute bullish breaker area that sent us up after we took Asia's low. This is London's low here at 2694.5. So for the first 5 minutes of the 9:30 open, we have not made a fair value gap yet. Price is rejecting off of the 5-minute bullish breaker that we created earlier pre-market. Now we're coming into the 1-minute bullish breaker pre-market. So far, nothing clean and decisive has happened. Okay, looks like we're pushing down toward the London low. We broke out of that consolidation here, created a bearish order block. Want to see how price reacts after we take London's low. And we have our first presented fair value gap. Um, on my chart, I see it. I'm not seeing it here. I'm not sure why it's not. It's weird. Yeah, on my other chart, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the, I'll put it on here. I'm looking at the first presented fair value gap, which we are currently look like we're about to come through it. Let me make sure. I don't know why it's not coming up on this screen here. Super weird. It's between 740. Hmm, that's weird. I don't know why these charts are different. They're the exact same ticker symbol. Yeah. So on my other chart, price has already come into this and rejected out of it. Um, I don't know why it's not on this chart that you guys are looking at, and it's the exact same ticker. And oh, you know what? I'm sorry. This is why I am looking at the 5 minute on my other chart. Here we are on the 1 minute. My apologies. Okay, so we look like we're going to go ahead and take this London low. After 9:30, we confirmed these bullish candles as a bearish order block. We tap back into it, and you could target the session low. That would have given us 50 handles, but that's if you trade that type of way. Order flow is bearish, and we're moving right along into London's low. So I want to see if we start getting some sort of pullback or retracement after that, or if we're going to continue down into these daily um, levels. Currently inside of a daily bullish fair value gap, and we may close that out today. See if ES took London low yet. Okay, so ES did not take its London low, but it is pushing up really heavy, and so is NQ. But we did not disrespect the 1 minute bullish order breaker block that sent price up. We have tapped down into it, mitigated some of the consolidation that happened during pre-session this here, and now we've pushed back up almost to this high. So our first presented fair value gap has been closed through. We want to see if we're going to use that as some support to go higher. This here is an inter-range breaker block. We could see price come back down here or at least into this area here and continue higher. But also keep in mind that price could just be digging into a 5-minute bearish order block to continue lower to the target, which is the session low. So we have a lot of, it seems like some manipulation going on here. You just want to be patient and wait. I'm not really interested in anything until we break this London low. Thank you all who have just joined us. If you could please like the live stream and share, subscribe if you have not already. And that way you'll be able to ask questions in the chat and comment. We'll love to for you to introduce yourself and let us know how long you've been trading and what is your trading model or style. Good morning, Jen. Thank you for coming and being here. Yeah, we have a lot of smooth lows. We're back at this first presented fair value gap. We tapped into it and we're pushing up. But it's still just not really clear. You could definitely formulate small scalp trades off of these levels. After coming into this bullish fair value gap on the 1 hour, we came down. This could be our 1 minute bullish breaker to go up, go higher. But we haven't taken liquidity from the sell side. We've tapped into a lot of it and we're showing some signs of rejection, but it could also be uh, manipulation. We have the 950 to 1010 macro in 2 minutes. So let's see what they want to do. Today is no news. We did have a large range on Friday, so we could encounter a lot of manipulation. So you just want to manage your expectations. And here we have the top of a new week opening gap. CE is nestled right in there. So we're inside of our macro. So we are below the midnight open. We're below the 8:30 open, and we're right around the 9:30 open. So we could see some internal manipulation back into the range, at least into London high, and then come down. Not really sure. Let's look at the 1 hour. What have we done? We confirmed a bearish order block on the 1 hour, came down, tapped into this bearish fair value gap, rejected out, hit this bullish one, but we're still in the middle of it. So we have not closed it out yet. We have about 7 minutes. So at 7 minutes, if we begin to disrespect that bullish 1 hour fair value gap, we could potentially see lower prices. I'm going to go ahead and get the mean threshold of this hour's candle so we can see about how far price may want to retrace into the mean threshold of it during the next hour, which will be our 10 o'clock silver bullet. A little early because we have about 6 more minutes. But if we take the high or the low of this candle within the 6 minutes, I will readjust the mean threshold. So far, it looks like we are heading up, which I don't like that because I really wanted those lows to be taken, and I believe they will. Just at another point, the dollar has taken its session high, and if we begin to create a bearish breaker to the downside on dollar, then we may see some upward movement on the indices. But not all the time do the indices and dollar line are opposing. Sometimes they are all trading in the very same direction. So you just have to be mindful of that. The dollar has also tapped into a bullish 1 hour fair value gap. So if it decides it wants to push out of that to the upside, that could send indices back down. So right now we're just moving. This was a good entry long if we're taking the rejection off of the first presented fair value gap. Created another bullish order block here. So now let's see how far away are we from the midnight open. About 82 handles. And we're coming into the top of the range of the New York Open range, which currently is at 840.25. So it looks like we're going to create a new high on this 1 hour candle. So I'll readjust the mean threshold after the close of this candle. Yes, it's very close to its London high. It's like we're coming back into this bullish order block. We have just a few more seconds before our 10 o'clock silver bullet hour starts. It is now 10 o'clock. And we also created a 4 hour fair value gap, bearish fair value gap. Consequent encroachment lies around 852.75. We've tapped into that order block, bullish order block. You could see price. I'm just seeing something here. coming back into the main threshold of this previous hour's candle. It's right here at 769. So just, excuse me, just recapping what happened so far since we opened. We made a bearish order block coming down into the zone of the bullish 1 and 5 minute breaker blocks that sent price to the mid of the range. We created a first presented fair value gap, which seems to be being respected. And now we just tap into the main threshold of the previous hour's candle as well as this um, bullish order block here. Zoom in a little bit more. We have our London high up here, way up there. And we're also still under the midnight open, the previous day high. 8:30 open was around here. So that's where we're seeing some sort of rejection. We do have this 4 hour bearish fair value gap that was printed 10 o'clock. And we have 5 more minutes for the macro. 10 o'clock so far. The only thing we've done is moved into this fair value gap. Yes, is at its midnight open price. So we should be heading there. Now we've taken the 1 hour, I'm sorry, the 4 hour fair value gap. Seems like I missed my entry here. It's okay. If we reject and close under this low, this will be a 1 minute bearish breaker. And we're back inside of this bullish order block. $1 is just basically consolidating at the equilibrium of its range. Price is permitted to come into this zone here. So since the 8 o'clock open, we have come down, failed to take the London low. We retraced all the way back up, past the 8 a.m. open, tapped into a 4 hour bearish fair value gap. And if we close below this level, we'll confirm a bearish order block as well as a 1 minute bearish breaker on the 5 minutes. Our bearish breaker would be the close of this candle. If we get a close below this low here, close below this candle could be a bearish order block on the 5 minute. but it's not an institutional swing point. So for me, it would have to close below this and tap into London low. We are outside of the macro, so this manipulation into the range could have been its objective. Conversely, we also have our midnight opening gap as well as our new day opening gap above us. ES also failed to take its London high. Got very, very close, but just did not take the level. So ES made a higher high, and so did NQ. So let's see. I'm just mapping out if we are going to create a bearish breaker here. Can't use any more than 3 contracts to go short if I take this short here. And that's if it's confirmed. Now we're back inside of this 1-hour bullish fair value gap. Main threshold is at 770. So this level here is the mean threshold of the previous hour's candle. We had a lot of wicking there, and wicks are gaps. So 45. Still no decisive close below this low here. So we have a high, low, higher high, but we haven't gotten a nice displacement or decisive close below this low. So price could just be mitigating this bullish order block here. Now we're getting a push down. We have about 10 seconds on this candle. So it looks like we're just bouncing back and forth. Yes, has created an interrange bearish breaker block. We do have a close right here. I'm going to put my wrist here. Do 5 contracts. See how we're reacting. We've created a bearish order block that we've tapped back into. This is our bearish order block. This is our bearish breaker. We don't have a fair value gap at this level. We have it here. And we close below it, but then close back into the same zone. So I'm being patient to see if we're going to get any displacement or if we're going to just head up. Right now, it looks like we're just ping-ponging in between fair value gaps on a 1 hour and 4 hour and into this range. It's nothing really decisive. Would have loved for us to sweep this low. I'd have had more confidence in this bullish breaker going higher. Um, but now we've tapped this 4 hour bearish fair value gap. And we do have a breaker, but it is not a fair value gap align, which I don't always require. But when I see it close and then close back into the range, it gives me pause. So I want to see how far into this bearish order block we want to tap into. Let's see on the 5 minute, did we create one? So if you want to count this doji as a bearish order block, you could do that. But I like to use the big juicy candles. I would love to see a close below this to let us know we want to go lower. As you can see on the 1 minute, these fair value gaps are, let's see, we came into the midpoint. Looks like we're rejecting out of that. I'm waiting for dollar to confirm a 1 minute bearish breaker. And if we do that, that could also send the indices back up. So when you're watching price, you have to, the way I look at it is, it's a if this, then that type of rationale. If we're looking, we're kind of bullish, but we did hit the higher time frame point of liquidity where we closed back into the range and we came into the mean threshold of the previous hour's candle and now we're pushing back up. So had I taken this short, I would have gotten stopped out because price only wanted to come here and we closed back into the range. Anytime price is going to continue going, it will do so with force and displacement. And so sometimes you have to just pause um, to see exactly what's going to happen. So I'm kind of glad I did that. Um, my initial thought was to go long when we came back into this order block here into the fair value gap. That would have given us our target for today. But price action is just not really giving me uh, anything clear, decisive. It looks like it's toying with us or playing with us, manipulating. And so like I said, you can always formulate a trade up and down depending on your trading style. But for me, um, my levels just has not been hit yet. So we may not get anything good until after the AM session and the lunch macro or either PM silver bullet. I'm learning not to rush into anything. Think it through, let price confirm what it wants to do, and then move. So we rejected out of this fair value gap, which is also around the mean threshold of this bearish order block. Will we flip down, or is this just more manipulation? The mean threshold of this bullish order block. So I'm going to wait until either the London low or the London high is taken. This is the kind of move I would have liked to see here. And we're coming back into this first presented fair value gap. And this is our London low. So far this session, we've it's been pretty much consolidating in between London's high and low. Let's see how we react in this zone here. This is a bullish fair value gap. Now we have that fair value gap aligned, but price may or may not come back to uh, tap in or revisit this bearish 1 minute breaker. Okay, we're back inside the first presented fair value gap. Let's watch the bodies and see if we get any bodies to close past the consequent encroachment of it. Okay, looks like that's getting disrespected, and we're gonna head for this London low. So a lot of back and forth today. And the 1 minute bearish breaker finally did deliver at least 50 handles. Um, and it'll be even more if we get to the low. So congratulations to any of you guys who took a short off of that breaker. We have closed outside of this first presented fair value gap. So now you want to see that as, if we're going lower, you want to see this act as resistance to push price into lower levels. Hello, Mock. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Mock Eyes. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. If you could like the live stream, subscribe and share. Well, you're subscribed, so um, thank you. So we want to see this as resistance to go lower. Keep in mind, this is still the 1 minute bullish breaker area that sent price up during the pre-market session over here. No, no trades taken yet. I am waiting for price to take this London low and see how we react from there. I missed my entry short here. I wasn't sure about it because it pulls back in the range, but we just manipulated into this fair value gap and then we dropped. This was a clean long too, but we didn't take the low. They're too clean, so I know price is going to take it eventually. We have not reached our new day opening gap or the midnight open price, but we may not because if we look at the regular trading hours gap from where we ended to where we opened at 9:30, we have over 225 handles. So price may not even want to go back up there. We're heavily bearish at this time. The alerts seem to be off for some reason, not really sure why that is. It's 10:30. So now we're going back into the first presented fair value gap. The bullish order block. Let's see. It lines up with this fair value gap. We're back at the 1 minute bearish breaker. So I have to tap in this volume imbalance where you're rejecting back up into this bearish order block. I'm going to see if we flip that. Then we'll have a low, high, a lower low, and a higher high. Close above this zone could push us up into the midnight open and our new day opening gap, which is pretty much about 200 handles away, 200, almost 250. Okay, so back into the breaker, rejecting down. First presented fair value gap has been closed above, below, back above. So I don't know. I know that's something uh, ICT was teaching during the 2024 mentorship. Um, I've seen it do that a lot. I'm not sure how much weight it has as far as being able to trust it, but this was a good one. So we have about another hour. I'll give it to 11:30 to a price to start showing its hand on what it really wants to do. Right now, we're just going back and forth in a range. We're ranging. We haven't taken London high or London low. We've come into this 4-hour bearish fair value gap, created a bearish breaker. It has delivered over about 50 handles, 55. And now we're just in this range. So on the 1 minute, this is our dealing range low to high. And we're just right here in the middle. Mac, what is your trading style? You have you taken any trades today? Have you seen any of your setups form this morning? And that question is for any of you guys, because every trader sees the market differently. So I'm walking you through what I'm seeing, the pros and cons, and where I feel price could potentially get hung up at. But our major targets have not been hit yet. Our London high is here at 915, and our London low is at 693. Oh, that's great. Okay. Yeah, I did that on stream the other, what was that, Friday? I thought I was still had my position tool on, but I had already set it for a limit, but it tagged me in and it worked out, thank God. But I was still, formulating and trying to get the best entry. So I was going to enter here for a long, or at least in this area when it tapped into this to go long. And then after this, I was going to go short, but then it closed back in the range. So I wasn't really sure. But then it rejected out of it pretty nicely. That could have been a nice short. Um, but I'm not going to be in a hurry. I don't have to trade today. You don't have to trade any day, first of all. And the more patient you become, the more profits you will hold. I used to just take a lot of trades and it would bite me. Yeah, I get that. I saw that you took it by mistake. I've done that too. And I try to get out as soon as I can in the green. Um, but yeah, things like that happen. I mean, it's a mistake sometimes. Or you'll think it's going and then you get in and then it's like, oh no, I didn't anticipate that. So let me get out. My stop loss would have been over here if I would have went short here. I still would have been in the trade, but you want to manage your risk. And now I have an at a glance risk management table that I look at. So I set my stop loss. Um, I use the amount of micros that my stop loss can handle because I can't lose more than $300 to $400 per trade. So, um, for instance, when I was going to go short here, my stop loss would have needed to be at least here. That's 200 and let's say 30, right? Targeting 50 handles or so. So if my stop loss is around 230, say, then I can only use about 3 to 4 micros. So that would be all that I could have used. Before, I would just have a set amount of micros, like 5 or 10 or something like that, trying to, with the TP in mind, but you also have to consider and count up the cost of putting on a trade. So now if we close above this, this will be an inter-range bullish breaker block. I call it inter-range because we haven't taken a higher time frame pool of liquidity like the session low or previous day low or anything like that. Um, but the 1 minute bullish breakers from the pre-market has held. Price has tapped into them 1, 2 times and have rejected out of that. I typically trade in the direction of the last confirmed breaker, and that would be bullish for us. So, with that in mind, we would have been safe. However, when you have a session low right here, it's and all these clean lows, it just makes you a little bit more nervous, because neither ES or NQ has taken its session low. So let me zoom in a little bit more. Now we're coming back into the 4-hour bearish fair value gap area. We're moving pretty aggressively. We took this high, so let's see if we continue to make fair value gaps out of that, or if we're going to create a high, a low, use this as resistance to push us higher. I tell people all the time that your understanding of the market and your strategy will be different from others. Um, for me, the higher probability breakers form after you've taken a higher time frame liquidity pool, like a session low or high, previous day low or high, monthly, weekly lows, highs, or internal range liquidity, like 1 hour and above fair value gaps. So sometimes you'll be bouncing in between those levels. This here has been a lot. And if you're holding for this low, you would have gotten taken out. If you were holding for the high, you would have gotten taken out. So when you see us ranging like that, it's a lower probability. You definitely want to use less micros or minis. You also want to manage your risk. And if price is coming back to your entry, break even with profit and find a better entry because this is what it's doing. And a lot of stuff you're only going to see after the candles have printed and moved away from your optimal entry. And you'll be like, oh man, I could have gotten that. See, this was this. Oh, now we have a inner range bullish breaker block. This here is all a order block. This is an order block, a bullish order block here. These down close candles, price could come into that. I wouldn't want to see that because that means we would disrespect not only this PD array, but this PD array. But it can come all the way back here and manipulate to go higher. You also want to take a look at your 5 minute order blocks and see what's happening. We just confirmed this bullish order block here. Price has tapped into it, and that could very well send us up into the midnight open. Price has the right to come into the mean threshold of it, which would be around here. So you want to manage your stop loss accordingly to where price could come to and leave your stop loss where it should not. So if I was to go long here, my stop loss would have to be reasonably here, which is a lot, at the very least here. And that would mean I could only use two micros. Close above its down close candle will confirm another bullish order block. And this is our high. So at this high, we closed above it, created a low, used this fair value gap as resistance, but now we're going higher. We confirmed this order block. Seeing how the price is reacting here. The ES is just now taking its London high. So we should be following suit. So when price came back into this order block, that was a nice long to go higher. But I'm going to wait. I want to see this level taken. We could continue on and get left. That's always a possibility. But when that happens, it's okay because it left without taking any of your money. And that's what you want to do. You want to preserve your capital. So I'm looking for a little bit more information since we have been ranging throughout the session. So today we had a few like just short scalps. You could have came short, long, short, now long again. Um, no home runs, no grand slams. Are there any questions at this time? I hope that I am, walking you through price. Um, I hope I'm explaining it as best I can. Again, ES has taken London's high, and NQ has about 56 handles before it takes is. Um, Back in this order block, I trade all sessions. I can trade all sessions, but the live stream is typically the morning session. I believe our drawn liquidity is this session high here. I don't want to risk no more than 200 handles off 50 ticks. So Looks like I'm not miss my entry here. Above this high, I want to see if we can um, pull back just a tad to give me an entry. The midnight open is here, and then the session high is here. Coming back into this bullish order block. So my 3 failed PD array would be here because let's move this out the way. If we invert this fair value gap, that's 1. We invert this fair value gap, that will be 2 to 3 because now we disrespected this bullish order block, but it's a small candle, so I would most likely do this one. So my stop loss would reasonably need to be right here underneath this fair value gap. We've already mitigated the mean threshold of it, so we should not come any further than this low. But from where I'm at now to that low, I would need at least 250 ticks, and that would only allow me to use 4 to about 3 to 4 micros at this level. We'll do 200. But we're so close to this target here. It's not really worth the risk. So I'll stick with what I said and just see what happens after we take this session high. We could push up into these fair value gaps above. We have a 4-hour as well as a 1-hour. We are now in the 1050 macro. So that is our London close macro. So you have to see um, who's been making money during this session. So shorts made money, longs made money, shorts made money, longs has made some money if you took those trades. So right now it's up in the air. The macro could just be used to push us into our session high and or above. I don't know if we'll make it to the new day opening gap. We just have to see. Right now, we're digging back toward this bullish order block, these bullish order blocks and fair value gaps. If we close below this will make another bearish breaker within the range. And that could mean that price wants to mitigate some thing on the lower time, on the higher time frame, like this 5-minute bullish order block. The mean threshold of that is here. And that's on the 5 minutes. So you always want to kind of toggle between your lower time frame and higher time frame. Occasionally looking at your 15-minute. I'm doing this on a different screen, but I just wanted to show on the stream, what's going on. If we get a close above this could be a 15-minute bullish breaker as well as This is actually the bullish breaker. These are just mitigation blocks, in my opinion. But once we close above the session high, that would give us this candle here, that 3 a.m. candle. That would be our 15-minute bullish breaker. And then we can see and go into these higher time frame levels. We have few 1 and 4 hour fair value gaps above, and then we have the high. So if this is going to be a bullish day, then that's fine. On the 15-minute, this 15-minute candle, the mean threshold is here around 784. Price could pull all the way back into that just to go higher. So knowing where price could pull back to helps you do a couple of things. Number one, it helps you know where to, if you want an entry, if you're pretty confident in where price is going, it could give you an entry. If you're already in a trade, it could serve as your stop loss or a place where you may want to take some profit. So being aware of what price is doing on different time frames is very helpful. Step away for now. We're back into this bullish order block. Do I wait? I watch for S and Ts, but mostly once we've taken a higher time frame liquidity pool. So like when we take this session high here, well, I don't have to do that now because ES has already taken its London high. But like say for instance, we come down to the London low, um, which ES is taking its London high, and it's very close to taking the London low. It moved up and just came all the way down. Oh, wait, let me look at this. I'm on the wrong time frame on my other chart. Sorry about that. So yes, we've created, ES took its high and now it's coming down. I want to see if it's going to create a bearish breaker. But yes, I look at SMT. I'm aware of what it is and I've used it sometimes. It's not something that I won't take a trade if it doesn't have SMT or anything like that. Um, I haven't gotten that deep into it, but I am learning it. We have not come into our midnight open, and ES is just painting back and forth around its um, midnight open. And then, two, I'm going to point out our new week opening gap low, midpoints, and high. Those are all places I add alerts. Um, because price could get caught in those areas as well, and they can become targets for price. How about you? Do you use SMT quite often? Do you find it uh, that it gives you a lot of confirmation? If it gets inverted, will it be buy signal? No, I don't give signals. So you trade however you trade. If that's a buy signal for you, then by all means take it. Let's take a look. So after taking on the 15-minute, we're talking about the original breaker for on the 15-minute, the original bearish breaker was confirmed on the 8:30 candle from Friday, um, as far as market structure is concerned. So that would be this one. So the 15-minute bearish breaker is here, and we're continuing down. We did tap into it Friday and Friday, January 10th, and we're still coming down. Now, if we close above this, we'll create a bullish breaker. So on the 15-minute, price is still very bearish until we confirm a 15-minute bullish breaker. This is our lowest low. This is the highest up close candle on the 15-minute. You can even go here and use these clusters since it was consolidation. And then we'll have a confirmed 15-minute bullish breaker. Looks like we're tapping, coming back into the mean threshold of the previous 15-minute candle. And then we could see rejection back up, or we can just continue to flip down and take this low. Good morning, Chris. How are you? So, when I talk about breakers, I'm talking about where we swept higher time frame liquidity, created a breaker, and came down. Anything that happens in between the range, those are like mitigation blocks or inter-range break blocks is what I call it. It's just stuff that happens in between the higher time frames. For me, the higher time frame is the reset. While we've taken sell side liquidity on the 15-minute, we took it here and here. And so now, if we are to create a bullish breaker on the 15-minute, it would have to be a close above this candle here, the 3 a.m. candle. This is a mitigation block. We did close above it, but as you see, we closed right back into the range. So if you would have taken that, it would have been short lived. So you always want to kind of give the candles room to give you an answer about what it wants to do. I hope that makes sense. It's something I just started watching more recently. I'm mainly just watching for it at the time of day I'm expecting a reversal. It has helped me to get in a trade earlier than I would otherwise. Yes, definitely. And I know someone who uses SMT not only as a higher high, higher low divergence, but also time. Like ES took its London high. Back to this chart a moment. So ES took London high at like 1046, and we still failed to do so. But we've created what I call an inter-range breaker because we had a high, a low, a higher high, and a lower low. Price has tapped into that, and now it could want to come back and mitigate this 5-minute bullish order block. But as you see, it's just all these wicks, all this painting back and forth. This is just time distortion. We're really not doing much. We've had some nice ranges, but for me, because we didn't take out the sell side that I wanted to see, I just let it go. I had a couple of trade ideas that probably would have worked out, but Probably could have not, depending on where I put my stop loss. So we've come into the 4-hour bearish order fair value gap. We rejected down, came back above it again. So now we have a high, low, higher high, low, high, lower, low, higher high. So you can always look at it like, okay, which way are we going? And when you're doing that, that's just letting you know that price is really manipulating back and forth. It's not doing anything. And in those areas, you would, if you're experienced, you can definitely take some of those like short scalps, managing your risk and break even and profit if you start to see that it's pushing back towards your entry too much. So unlike ES, we have not even tapped back into our midnight open price, this London high, nor the new day or new week opening gap. This is a new week opening gap low, consequent encroachment, and the top. And this is where our 1-hour candle closed at. Yes, those are the higher probability breaker blocks. Once session high or low, daily, weekly, monthly, high or low, or 1 hour and above fair value gap has been taken, I watch for breakers. So this would have been my trade. The reason why I hesitated is because we barely closed above it on this candle. I'll zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. We barely closed on this candle. Then we had this candle, but there was no fair value gap. And we end up closing back into the range. So there were some fair value gaps here. Price took the first one here, and then it rejected out the middle here. So once we closed again, I could have, once we closed here, then it was so short lived. It wouldn't have given me my target. Like if I was really reaching and needed that London low to get the 50 handles, we wouldn't have gotten it. And it closed right back in the range and then reversed. And it would have taken me out. Either I would have had to break even in profit at my entry or cut it or just take a loss. So when the probability of the session is already low, you don't want to put yourself in a lot of risk. So then this here, same thing. Like we closed here. There's no fair value gaps, lots of painting back and forth. But we do have this mean threshold of the 5-minute order block. This is the only thing that price really could and should want to come to. And it's nestled right around a bullish fair value gap. Now, logically, if price was moving the way I would want to, I would try to get in here, either at the mean threshold of the order block or here at the fair value gap with my stop right under this low. But we're so close to the London low, that could be our daily draw on liquidity. I look at what during the day do is price looking for because smart money or market makers, whatever, they're only targeting higher time frame liquidity from the daily, weekly, and monthly levels. So far today, what have we taken? We took previous day low, which was Friday's low. The mean threshold is up here. The new week and new day opening gaps are up here. And the previous day high from Friday is way up here. But we gap down so much that price is showing it could be just very, very bearish, especially on the daily because the daily chart is very bearish. So now we're coming into this area. I could say, okay, let me do a limit and take it here. But I don't have any confirmation because price still has not swept its liquidity down here. Now dollar is pushing up and it is nearing it's right at the -3 standard deviation. And so dollar is heading toward its London high. It has about maybe 112 ticks to go. Or we could say maybe this is our time to go long, or wait till it inverts this, create a bearish fair value gap. I'm sorry, a bearish breaker on the 5 minute, and maybe we'll continue lower. The only hang up is we have a session low here. So now you want to see anytime we get to this level, do we get a body close below it? Are we starting to retrace back into it? But after we get a close below this, this will confirm a 5 minute bearish order block as well as a 5 minute bearish breaker because we took liquidity from a 4 hour fair value gap here at the top. So we're basically just going back and forth, and you can read it either way. Now we're inside of this mean threshold of the bullish order block. Will we reject back up or will we continue to go lower? That's what we have to watch. And you can form trades in both directions. You just want to basically be cautious because you can take you can um, you can take a lot of unnecessary risk. So you say, okay, we're going long, and you go long. Then you get stopped out. You come back, okay, we're going short. You get stopped out. Yeah, okay, we're going long. You get stopped out, and now you've blown your account because you're not being patient to see on the higher time frame where price is trying to go. Higher time frame, we are bearish on the 1 hour. Let's look at the daily. We're also bearish. Very, very bearish. We have bearish order blocks here, 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 all confirmed. When we're nearing the session low, which also takes us into this daily volume imbalance, which is another key level that price could be looking for. Then we have the top of this bullish daily fair value gap, the mean threshold or the consequent encroachment, and then the low. And then we also have this daily low. These are all levels I set alarms at. Now, how far we're going to get today, I'm not sure. And we may not get what I'm looking for during the session, but our macro, our 1050 to the 1110 macro is going to be up right now. So was this the macro manipulation into the 5 minute bullish order block to send us higher? Or are we actually going to go ahead and take out this session low? Let's see what happens. And let me know, guys, if this making sense to you all. I hope that I'm explaining this. I'm trying to explain it as best I can. I'm walking you through the way I think and process price um, on a daily basis. It's a lot to kind of keep track of and look at, but sometimes it keeps you from getting lost in price. Now it looks like we're coming back into our 1 and 5 minute bullish breaker area that sent price up during the pre-market session. So Tiffany, I hope I answered your question, but the simplest form is whenever we take those higher time frame liquidity pools, that starts the clock for me. I start looking for breaker blocks. I start looking for inverted fair value gaps. I start looking for order blocks in the direction of the higher time frame draw on liquidity. If we've already confirmed breaker, like when I came into the session, we had already confirmed the 1 minute and 5 minute bullish breaker blocks that formed here after we took Asia low. So this was our breaker area, as you can see. And I'll just just do this for now, just so you can see. As you can see from this session, we've tapped it here, it sent price up. We tapped it again, it sent price up. So you can always trade in the direction of those bullish order blocks until an opposing breaker has been confirmed. So once we came into this area, opposing breaker was semi-confirmed, but it bounced right into the bullish breaker and it sent price up. Now we're coming back down into this area. Will it reject and send us back up or not? What's also neat is that it also lines up with the first presented fair value gap. And you'll see a lot of these overlapping things, that people see, like mean thresholds and different things. They're most times on lower time frames will um, be nestled in with a volume imbalance or fair value gap or some other PD array. So we have a body close if we close below this level in the next minute, we will have a 5 minute body close past the mean threshold of this order block here. And we have a 5 minute fair value gap. Price has wicked into it, but it's showing signs of rejection right now. We just have to see if it's going to continue rejecting. Okay, Tiffany, thanks. Yeah, and a lot of people have issues with the content only because it's nestled inside of so much other stuff like rants and a lot of other things that's just a lot of people can't deal with that. So I studied his content, um, but I also have other uh, YouTubers who explain ICTConcepts very well and get right to the point in that I love. I love that. So those are videos that I have saved and I share with other people who may need help with getting a strategy, honing in on their strategy, perfecting their strategy. It's helped me with my edge. It helps give me confidence. But for me, my most confident trades are those that stem from breakers forming after taking higher time frame liquidity pools. Today we have ranged in between them. This is one, but I like external range liquidity sweeps more than internal. Internal to external is a little more risky than external to internal, um, in my opinion. But that's only because that's the way I see the market. The more I backtest, the more I study, um, the breakers don't let me down. Like I was scared. I mean, I was not confident because it closed right back in the range. But had I taken a chance and hit that fair value gap, consequent encroachment, got in there, it would have delivered to my target of at least 50 handles. And then I would have had a runner that I probably would have cut after we, closed back in. So some days I'm feeling more risky and other days I'm feeling more conservative. And on days like today when it's lower probability, it's just I want to take those chances. I want to, see what you're going to do. and we have less than 15 minutes till 11:30. And so we may not see much movement until the PM macro. So if you guys are up to it, I mean, we could take a lunch break and come back at 1 o'clock. I don't want to make that a habit. So, because it's a lot, I think we've been sitting at this chart now going on, let's see, almost 3 hours, 2 hours. And so it's almost 2.5 hours. And I think that we all need a break to reset our mind because we're not sure when price is going to take this level. Now, ES did take its high uh, and created a bearish breaker block. So it'll be reasonable for us to assume that we're going to go ahead and take this session low. However, we keep coming past this bullish breaker and rejecting up. But we do have SMT with ES in that it took its London high and we did not. Are you guys finding a good understanding in the 2025 mentorship um, content? It seems pretty, to the point. A lot of the stuff I was already doing, but one thing that stood out for me is not expecting price to go to the new week or new day opening gap, especially when we've gapped more than, I think he said more than 125 handles. And like today, it's over 200 and something handles. So it's probably unreasonable to think that we're going to go there. We have news drivers for the rest of the week. So that should give us some nice volatility and allow us an opportunity to get into the market if we don't catch anything today. Learning to read order flow will help you in so many ways because it'll help you stay on track with price, but also give you clues to possible potential pullbacks and or reversals. Right now, we've been consolidating in the mean threshold of this 5 minute bullish order block. I'm assuming during the lunch macro, we'll start to have some movement. So we haven't gotten any decisive body closes underneath this level yet, but there's still time. Good morning, Robin. Hi. Thanks for joining us and thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And if you're watching and you haven't hit the like button already, I would love it if you would do that. Also share. We're here every day so far during this challenge. Um, Robin, I was telling them that My Funded Futures had a reset sale, like a 25% off. So the first eval that I failed, I reset. So sometimes I will be trading that concurrent with this eval. I felt like it was a good deal instead of waiting for it to renew. I can get a renewal at a cheaper rate and just try to get it passed before it's time to renew in about a couple of weeks. So far this morning, we haven't taken any trades. Price has just been, back and forth, up and down, not really giving us anything. Um, my entry function has not been triggered, although I did point out a couple of potential trades that I could have taken, some shorts or longs. It just wasn't high probability. Yes, I have two now, two evals. Let's see. Yes, the 2025 has been helpful. I've noticed he seems to be pointing out quadrant aspects of PD arrays. Yeah, yeah. And we know that Christ loves to mitigate the mean threshold or the midpoint, 50%, however you describe it. Christ loves to do that. So we're inside of a 5-minute bullish order block. Christ doesn't seem to want to put a body past the mean threshold of it. As you can see, it stopped right there. And now we're pushing up. Do I trust it? No. Why? Because we have all this engineered liquidity right here, right? But at the same time, this is the long term low because we have an intermediate term low here as well as here. So price may not even come past this level today. It can go up. ES has already taken its high, it's did what it wanted to do, but it has not taken the low. So there's a lot of different factors here at play. We won't know exactly what price wants to do until it actually does it. And then we react after that, watching price rejections. If it's getting supported at a certain level, are we disrespecting those levels? We had consolidation here, pushed up, swept this high, came down, made a bearish breaker. Now we're back into this original consolidation. For those of you all who trade market maker models, which is what I do, um, but I like to do that after we've swept the higher time frame liquidity pool. On the 5-minute, where is our low? Okay, that's so far back. Let's go over here. Okay, and we have about 5 more minutes before the stream ends. If there's any questions or comments, I would love for you to put those in the chat now. So this is the low on the 15-minute as far as the market maker sell model is concerned. And we have about 123 candles before getting there. Once you combine once you combine your bias with order flow and the market maker X model, whether it's a buy or sell model, it helps you to track price and look at where price could go. If we look at the 1 hour, we've already taken these lows. So now this could be the end where the new week opening gap top is. This could be the end of the market maker sell model on the 1 hour. And then after that, we can hit these lows and then come down to this level here, which is the low of a daily bullish fair value gap. As you can see, price loves to round out. What goes up comes all the way back down. So all of these lows here are in the wake of price. and we are bearish on the daily time frame. So today is Monday. We have our news drivers on another day. Tuesday, we have core PPI. Wednesday, core CPI. Thursday, unemployment claims. And Friday, we have just medium impact news. So it's very possible today will just range. Looking at our daily candle, we opened up, took the previous day's low, and we continue lower. So we may pull back tomorrow or we may continue down. Monday is just not very promising so far. When we haven't really done nothing, I'm not even sure if the PM session would provide anything. So I'll say maybe we should wait till tomorrow, see what happens. Um, if I do decide to take a trade, if my levels are hit while we're off stream, I'll be sure to record it. But for right now, we're not doing anything, and I think that we should just take a lunch break, reset. I don't know if you guys trade the PM session or not. I really love to get my day done before the PM session now because I have other things I want to attend to. But I don't want to sit another 3 hours on stream, and we may or may not get much movement. So before we go, are there any other questions, comments, or concerns? Please put them in the chat now. I want to thank each and every last one of you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments in the chat, your questions. I hope I was able to answer those for you. And I'll be back for sure tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern. Again, if I happen to get a trade this afternoon or whatever on either of these Eval accounts, I will record that and update you guys. I want to take some time to work on the Discord because I want to put some helpful videos in there for you guys and some resources, as well as that'll be a central hub for us to keep track of our daily count, as well as the YouTube channel. In the community tab, I try to update and post there too. So now we have two evals. This is the second one that we've only traded on one day. Today would have been day two, but we don't have a trade just yet. So our P&L is still $491. And that was from Friday's AM session trade. And we're still consolidating. All right. So maybe around 12 o'clock or maybe 11:50 to 12:10, we'll see some type of movement. I have my alarm set. So we'll see what happens in between that time. I'm going to put the link to the Discord. I'll start posting that once I get it all set up. I'm still working on it. I'm kind of a one woman show right now. So I'm just still getting it together. But once I get the educational material in there, I'll start posting the Discord so you all can be notified if I do decide to jump on stream in a PM session and say, hey, let's see what we get, this afternoon or whatever. I'll do that. So once I get that link, once I get it a little bit more uh, functional, I will definitely put that on there. And then I'll start leaving the links in the live stream so you all can join and you can share with other people. We can talk, you can share your trades and different things like that. So I am working on that. No, thank you, Rodrigo. I appreciate it. And it's my pleasure. Yeah, right now we're not doing anything. We're just consolidating. And we could possibly I've seen price consolidate for 3 straight hours. So that was horrible. But I would like for you guys to now take a break, stretch your legs, hydrate, go work out, do something. I'm not interested in price until it breaks this level or this level, um, for me. Thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern time so we can see what we get after this manipulation. We played it safe today. So no money lost, no money gained, but we are still in the green and that's a good day. Okay. So it's after 11:30. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I do appreciate you all. And if you could share with others that we are here and maybe they want to be our trading buddy as well. So tell them to come and join us. Um, Again, appreciate each and every last one of you all for your comments, liking, subscribing, and just being here. We will be back here on Monday tomorrow for our morning session and any trades that is taken on the eval accounts off stream or after in the PM session. I will record that and or let you guys know what happened. All right. Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye bye.